Oh, Daddy, where are you going?
I'm going to hunt some tacos.
Oh, tacos. I love tacos. I want to come along too.
No. You're going to stay behind and be watched by the babysitter. Yes, you are.
No, not the babysitter. No. Well, listeners, welcome back to Nature and Science for Kids. I'm Moosejaw Matt with a tiny bit of allergy coldness going on. Something. You can tell maybe that my voice is a little different. Nonetheless, we will push on. I feel fine, thank you for asking. Just, I sound a little off, and I sneeze more than usual. Yeah, I think it's allergies. And my energy level's been a little bit lower. I'm like 90% instead of 100%. Anyway, enough about me. What in the world does hunting tacos and babysitters have to do with today's show? That's a great question. Do you even know what today's show is? Did you see? Did you ask? Do you know? Well, I'm going to tell you. Today's show is about Arctic wolves. Eliora had wanted to know a little bit about Arctic wolves and what they do at night, and I've done some research and found out, and this episode is for you. Arctic wolves are wonderful. Oh, by the way, we'll come back to the babysitting thing. It'll make sense in a little bit. But Arctic wolves are awesome. They're white. They're a subspecies of gray wolf, but they're mainly just white. And what's cool is when they're born, they have blue eyes. As they develop, as they grow up, their eye color changes from blue to yellow or some other similar colors. But they start with blue eyes, so they have this white fur, these blue eyes, and it's beautiful. It's quite stunning. Now, these wolves have two coats of fur. An undercoat, which helps keep them dry. It's close to their bodies, and an outer coat, which is thicker, and that keeps them warm. So even though the outer coat gets wet, it still keeps them dry because the coat underneath is the one that's keeping the water away from their bodies. Brilliant! What a brilliant design! God's amazing. They need this because Arctic wolves live in the Arctic. It's very cold. The Arctic is an imaginary circle up near the North Pole, and it goes around it. But the Arctic is the coldest place in the north. It receives no sunlight for at least one day during the winter, a whole 24-hour period where it sees no sun. And then during the summer, it's the opposite, a whole 24-hour period in which they receive at least a lot of sun, completely sun. So they live there in the Arctic. Because it's so cold, they need to stay warm. Something that they've done, they didn't choose to, they just adapted. They have shorter ears, shorter noses, and shorter legs. This makes them a little bit more round in shape. They still look like wolves. They're just a little bit, their proportions are different, slightly shorter, and a more spherical shape keeps things warmer. Imagine yourself, it's really cold, and you go outside and you don't have a jacket. Do you want to spread your arms out and your legs and just bask in the coldness, or do you want to tuck up into a little ball? Yeah, you want to tuck up because you want to make yourself, whether you realize it or not, smaller, more condensed like a ball, because spheres are warmer than, let's say, something that's spread out. This is why when you're hot, you do the opposite. You do not curl up. You do not tuck yourself into a ball under a blanket. You spread out. So these wolves do that. They are more round-shaped very slightly. It's not a lot. They don't look like balls of fur running around. They're just a little bit more ball-shaped. However, that's not evolution. That's called adaptation. They've adapted. If you were to take those wolves and put them at the equator, I would bet, I'm not the betting kind of person, but if I did, I would bet that those Arctic wolves would no longer be Arctic wolves because they wouldn't live in the Arctic, and they would change. They would eventually, after generations, start to have longer legs, longer ears, and longer noses again. That's just the way animals and plants work. They adapt to a certain setting, but once their circumstances change, they can adapt back. Evolutionists don't talk about that a lot, but it's true. There has never been an organism, not even bacteria, which changes from one form to another completely. It can always be reversed, which is remarkable. So, not proof for evolution, just adaptation. God put that in the wolves. The blue eyes, the white fur, the ability to have shorter legs, shorter ears, and shorter noses. It's just all a part of the amazing design. All right, speaking of design, actually this next part has nothing to do with design, but there are about 200,000 in the wild, they estimate. 200,000 individuals. That puts them on the scale. Are they endangered? Are they extinct? Well, they're obviously not extinct. They're at least concern, which is great, which means there are plenty of them. One reason they're at the least concern is because humans can't get to them very easily. They live way up in the Arctic, and not that many people go there. Yeah, there's been some habitat destruction or loss, but not much. So they're kind of left alone. Arctic wolves communicate by howling and with their tails, depending on the position of the tail, if it's up or down or left or right or whatever. They're communicating something. And sometimes they have a war cry, a war howl. And they say, let's go hunting tonight. We're going to go hunting tacos. By the way, they don't eat tacos. Do you know what they eat? What would they eat? Musk ox? Caribou? Yeah. Some caribou tacos? Obviously, to take down such large prey, they would have to hunt in packs. They're skilled. That's what wolves do. They hunt together. They're very social animals. But someone has to stay back and watch the kids. What about those pups? There's always one adult that stays back to watch the pups to make sure they don't get into trouble and that they're tucked in, they have their story read, and they're taken care of. So that goes back to the beginning of the episode about babysitting. If you've ever been babysat, you're like an Arctic wolf. They are babysat. And they're babysat at night because they often go hunting at night, which answers the question, what do they do at night? Well, they like to howl. They like to have their wolf parties and howl and move their tails around. But if they're going to hunt, it's going to usually be at night because they tend to be more active at night. They're like night owls, or in this case, night howlers, night wolves. Arctic wolves have 42 sharp teeth, and they have a bite of about 6,000 pounds. No, sorry, not 6,000, 600 pounds per square inch. That doesn't sound so intense now. 600 pounds per square inch. It's not 6,000, but that's still a lot. That's painful. With 42 sharp teeth, no. I do not want to be bit by an Arctic wolf. By the way, since they hunt in packs, if one's going to attack, it's probably going to be 8 of them, or 10 of them, or 12 of them. I don't want that to happen. There is almost no chance of survival. Wolves are amazing. They're powerful, they're skilled, they're smart, highly intelligent. I want to see one in the wild, but I don't want to be attacked by one. They can also run up to 40 miles per hour. And finally, they're also known as polar wolves because they live near the pole, the North Pole, or the white wolf because of the color of their fur coat. Eliora, I'm glad you asked about that. Very interesting. Listeners, there you go. Some facts about Arctic wolves. But wait, there's more. Not about Arctic wolves, but we have some birthdays. June, we have some early June birthdays. Liam, Leon, Amelia, and Madeline. Thank you for joining the podcast in a celebratory sort of way. We're celebrating your birthday. I hope you are not attacked by wolves. I hope that you get some tacos, if you like them. Maybe not caribou tacos. I'm vegetarian, by the way. I don't know that would appeal to me. I would like a taco with beans, lettuce, tomato, cilantro, salsa. That sounds delicious. So, you birthday celebrants, I hope you get just what you want on your birthday, and I hope you're able to do something good for someone else. It feels good to do things for other people, and that's science-based. Well, listeners, I'm Moosejaw Matt. Until next time, keep exploring your world.